gonna show to you the chess game between Vaishali versus Aleksandra Goryachkina in FIDE Candidates 2024 round number 11. So let's begin on E4, C5 Sicilian defense, my fellow chessers. So C3, this is Alapin Sicilian defense, my fellow chessers. So let's continue on. Knight F6, E5, and then Knight G5, and then Bishop C4, Knight B6, attacking the Bishop on C4, and then Bishop B3, and then Knight C6, and then G4. C takes D4, and then C takes D4, G5, Bishop C2, Knight B4, and then Knight C3, Bishop G4, Knight G E2, Bishop takes E2, Queen takes E2, then Knight takes C2, and then Queen takes C2, and then E6, and then Queen D3, and then Rook C8, and then castles kingside, A6, and then Queen G3, and then G6. This is Sicilian defense Alapin. So G6, and then Bishop G5, Bishop E7, Bishop H6, preventing the castle's kingside. So Bishop F8, Bishop G5, Bishop E7, good move, and then Bishop H6, Rook C4, almost draw. So Rook C4, Rook F G1, Bishop F8, Bishop G5, Queen C7, then C7, then Rook AC1, and then Bishop G7, and then B3. So Rook C6, and then Knight E2, then castles kingside, and then H4, and then Rook C8, and then H5, and then Rook C2. Mistake. The best continuation in this position is Rook takes C1, my fellow chessers. That is the best continuation. So let's continue on. Rook C2, mistake, and then Queen G4, Queen D7. Queen D7, mistake. The best continuation is Rook takes C1 again, my fellow chessers, and the Rook takes C1. That is the best continuation. So Queen D7, and then Queen takes C2, Rook takes C2, H takes G6, F takes G6, Knight F4, attacking the pawn on E6. Oh, that's the idea of Knight F4. So Rook C6 defend, and then Rook D3, Queen F7. What's the idea of Queen 7? Okay. Rook H4, attack on F5. So Rook H4, and then Queen H4, and then Knight G7, and then Rook H3, then Knight F8, and then Bishop E7, mistake. The best continuation on this position is King H2. That is the best move, the best position. So let's continue on. Bishop E7, bad move. Queen F5, bad move or mistake. The best continuation is H6, my fellow chessers. That's the best move. That's the best move. So Queen F5, mistake. Knight D3, mistake by Vaishali. The best move is Rook F3. Rook F3. That is the best move, my fellow chessers. So let's continue on. Knight D3. Rook C3, mistake by Aleksandra. The best move is H6, my fellow chessers. So let's continue on. Rook C3. That's the H6. So let's continue on. Rook F3, and then Queen E4, challenging the Queen. Queen H3, good move, and then Rook C8, and then Rook F4, and then Queen E2, and then Bishop F6, mistake. The best continuation in this position is Rook F3. So let's continue on. Bishop F6, and then H6. Bishop takes G7, mistake. The best position on this position, the best move on this position is Rook F3. So let's continue on. Bishop takes G7 mistake. The best move is Rook F3. So bishop takes G7 mistake. So King takes G7, Rook F8, King F8, and then Rook. Queen takes S6, my fellow chessers. So let's continue on. King E7, and then Queen takes G6, then Queen E4 mistake. The best continuation on this position is Queen D8. King D8. So let's continue on. Queen E4, then Queen G7, good move. And then King E8, and then Queen G8, King E7, Queen G7, King E8, Queen G8 mistake. The best move on this position is Knight C5. That is the continuation, the best continuation on this position. So let's continue on. Queen G8 mistake. Then King E7. King E7, good move. Knight C5. Queen E1. King H2. Queen takes F2. And then Queen to G5 check. King E8. And then Knight takes B7. Queen takes D4. Queen G8, and then King E7, Queen G5 check, King E8, and then Queen D8 check, King F7, and then Queen F6, King E8, Queen G6, and then King E7, and then Queen H7, King E8, and then Queen G8, and then King E7, and then Queen G5. Ooh, as you can see, almost repeated. Also, King E8, good move. Knight D6 check. Rook takes D6, and then E takes D6. Queen H8 check. And then King G3. Queen C3 check. And then King G4. Queen B4. And then King F4. D4 mistake of Aleksandra Goryachkina. The best continuation on this position is Queen E1. That is the best continuation on this position. So let's continue on. D4 mistake by Aleksandra Goryachkina. So Queen E5, as you can see the evaluation bar, okay? So Queen E5, D3, and then King F3 because D3 is discovered check. King F3, and then King F7, and then G7, Queen B7, check, Queen E4, and then D2. What? Why? What if it takes this? Queen takes D7. The best continuation is Queen H7, check, and then King E8, and then Queen T. If it takes, King E3, okay. What? Why? Aleksandra Goryachkina push the D2. Wow! D8 equals knight, as you can see, fork. Oh, the brilliant idea of Vaishali. Oh, wow. What if queen? And this is stop. Okay. That's why knight the promotion on D file, my fellow chessers. After D8 equals knight, and then King F6, and then knight takes B7, and then Aleksandra Goryachkina resigns the game. Why? Because as you can see, Aleksandra Goryachkina have 3 pawns only on D2 and E6 and A6.